Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us tmosso at the1916company.com for all of your purchase, pricing, and availability questions concerning this watch. So today we're discussing a 2020 launch based on the 2017 Zenith Defy El Primero 21. This is the Defy El Primero 21 Ultraviolet, now with a media blasted case of blackened titanium. We also have elements that are violet and ultraviolet in that they are ultraviolet rather than that particular spectrum. So ultraviolet being more violet than other watches, it is that front, back, and on its strap. From a technical standpoint, it is identical to the Defy El Primero 21, which means it is spectacular, and it's also a large but wearable watch. So in titanium, 44 millimeters in diameter, 15.2 millimeters thick, and from lug end to lug end, 50.5 millimeters across the wrist with a somewhat unconventional 23 millimeter spacing. You could see that that is the spacing between the lugs, but that the strap itself is a little bit wider. So if you want to fit this properly, you're going to want to go with an OEM strap or at least something that's been custom cut to be slightly wider than the lug spacing. The strap includes what is actually a rubber designed to look like a textile with a true stitch, but this is rubber and this is rubber. They're just different colors. It is a brand new Zenith factory strap, no crimping, no gouging. And we have here a remarkably well-preserved Zenith factory clasp, as this one was probably not even worn by its original owner. He kept the packing stickers on there. Now, this is also titanium, a twin trigger release. You can't really see them underneath the packing sticker, but you press both and it opens up so it's secure. It's not going to fly open. We have Zenith's logo, which is the star. You'll see it in various places on the watch. It's inside the chassis. We also have two pins for the buckle. So you stick this in here, you pin it down on the two pins, and then all the excess length is contained underneath the strap as well as the clasp, so there's no need for minder loops. And remember, these are minder loops. This doesn't need those. It's a very clean look. Taking a look at the case, a lot of folks mistook this for some sort of hand-me-down from Hublot or hand-me-up from Tag Heuer, but this case design actually dates back to the late 1960s and the original Zenith Defy sports watches. This is just a larger, more aggressive interpretation of that shape. Now, there are quite a few contours. It's all hard facets. There are very few curves on this case, but it is a watch with a lot of visual strength to it, and with the matte finish, it wears its weight elegantly. We have a little rubber shoulder around the crown, which is a push down, though the watch is 100 meters water resistant. We'll do a quick loom shot of the dial, easy to see in the dark. Time, not chronograph, but time. Now we've got two different escapements. We've got one, which is the El Primero timekeeper. That beats at 10 beats per second, 36,000 vibrations per hour. So that's the time that you see on running seconds as well as the hour and minute hand. Now the second escapement operates at 360,000 vibrations per hour, 50 hertz or 100 beats per second. That's how we can have this 1 second foudroyante that makes an orbit of the dial every second and can split a second into 100 individual parts. Note, you do lose your chronograph hours display as a result of this, but you get an incredibly accurate chronograph reading. The way it works is you have automatic winding for the time-telling functions. That's a 50-hour power reserve. This rotor winds the time-telling functions. Now the chronograph, which has a 50-minute power reserve, this is 50 hours. That second escapement, which you can just barely see, I'll do my best to show it to you, but that second escapement is manually wound, and as it flies, it sounds like a hummingbird if you put it against your ear. It's got a 50-minute manual wind power reserve that dissipates fairly quickly, so a power reserve indicator for the manual wind only chrono power reserve is up at the top of the dial. The escapement for the El Primero, the 36,000 vibrations per hour, is made of silicon. You can just about see that iridescent silicon with a synthetic diamond coating for minimal susceptibility to magnetism, but also it doesn't require much, if any, lubricant, so it improves performance in between servicing. This is a time-lapse certified chronometer, which goes by the ISO 3159 that also governs the COSC. So the watch is a chronometer in addition, 53 joules, known as caliber 9004. Now what's interesting is it actually has a stop seconds function for the El Primero escapement, which historically is not a feature of El Primero's prior to 2019. So this was the first El Primero ever to have a hacking seconds function. You can see that the running seconds has stopped, so has that second balance wheel beneath the high frequency one. We have the low frequency one. Now it's running again. So you've got that stop seconds function, but the watch can tell time without the chronograph power reserve energized, and the chronograph can operate without the watch actually telling time. So this is really two movements in one case with two separate mainspring barrels and two separate drivetrains, escapements, and oscillators. Against the ear, it sounds chaotic with the two separate beat rates, but it's a very special and appealing watch. And you can see that it features a silk screened logo that's underneath the sapphire, as well as a dial featuring anthracite coatings, rhodium-plated steel indices and hands, and then those lovely ultraviolet accents. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.